the rules to be a sneakerhead.
So you're young. First of all, the internet's new, really, relatively.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody. You're dealing with dial-up, and so people are sort of sitting on their home computers and checking in, and you're finding your friends from around the world, and a lot of us are in our 20s, and so you're visiting that. To preface that was Nike Park, Nike Street, and there's some other smaller, I think, GeoCities. There's some other things that were out there.
Yeah.
It was just the first one at the right everything, and really was sort of the big bang of sneaker culture.
Right.
Some people might throw things, and other people might applaud that. But in my opinion, that's when a lot of people jumped in and a lot of people started getting it. Also,
what's good, everyone? Welcome back to My First Kicks. This is episode 240, and this week I bring to you none other, one of my favorite people, Tom, InStyleShoes. Tom, come on, man.
Oh, wow. Keep going.
No, look, you are an absolute legend. InStyleShoes 1999. If you haven't followed, make sure you follow him. You post pages that bring me back to certain moments in time where I remember when I found your page, I was just like, I'm in high school again. And
when did you jump in?
Following you?
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't even remember. I remember early on following a ton of sneaker pages, but I remember there wasn't IG page was like East Bay catalog or something like that. It was like something East Bay. It was like East Bay Archive or something like that.
Yeah, Drew Hamill.
Yeah. Well, all of them.
Yeah. He's a great archive person. Absolutely.
And so
he was originally Nike Stories.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
so he
crazy.
Changed that over, rebrand.
That's crazy.
Yeah, refocus.
That's crazy. But yes, I remember you posting like some old. I want you to. I've talked about this on the last episode. There's a page. There's a pair of Air Force One mids. Right.
Careful.
Never seen it.
Careful.
Never seen it. Yeah. I know. Shout out to Clark Kent.
Yep.
Shout out Clark Kent.
Absolutely.
All right. Happy belated. Heavily belated. But there's a pair of mid Air Force Ones, navy blue and gray. But it's mostly navy blue, and the swoosh is gray, the strap is gray. I need you to find them.
Jewel era?
No jewel, just regular. I want to say 1996, maybe.
Okay.
96, 97.
I see, yeah.
So if you ever see a page of those, please pass it.
Yeah, we'll go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Happy to.
But for people who are not familiar with you, how about you introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. Tom. I run at the handle InStyleShoes 1999, and happy to be here. Happy to have someone be interested, and happy to chop it up.
No, man. Well, first I'm gonna open the curtains on this one. Forever thankful for you, right? Like, you following me and you giving me the opportunity to meet, AC Aaron Cooper. Wow. The beginning of this year. I almost said last year. I never thought I would ever be in a position to even be in that room, to have the chance to speak to, Stanley, to speak with Rod, and all these extremely talented people who really digest sneakers on a level that I wish I could have gotten to in high school. But, I actually had that moment in that room, and I'm forever thankful. You sat down with me, and I was like, to be honest, I was nervous eating. I was
okay.
Yeah. You were talking to me, and I was just like you're telling me how much you love the podcast and what you just putting the stories in front of everything.
Yeah. Different approach.
Yeah. And I was like, how did I get here? I was literally, I don't know if you noticed it. I was sweating.
So same.
Yeah.
Same. I'm there because doors were open for me. And that's, kind of the way people would say, that's kind of the right thing to do is pay it forward and tap people and this and that. And so I think I was scrolling one day. You had a very interesting conversation it was Beachy KJ.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped scrolling because you guys were talking about gatekeeping and sneakers. And I just recently had a back and forth with someone about that stuff. And I thought what you two interacted with in that episode, maybe you recall the number of that episode, but
I don't. I'm sorry.
I was just trying to give you a call back. Just the idea of that,
Mm-hmm.
that there are people who feel that they experienced a lot or know a lot and have a minimum requirement for others to sort of enter this space.
Yeah.
And so is there a line for that? What does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
Do you just need to be an OG head to qualify? It's a confusing conversation, but I remember being pulled in on that. And so that's what grabbed me. And then I started digging deeper and we started having some conversations.
No, yeah.
So.
You were like, yeah. It's funny for me when people go back in the archives and I'm like, I don't remember none of these conversations. Like I'll grab like specific moments from each episode, but
sure,
240 episodes.
I listened to you and KO.
You were showing me that.
Yeah, I think you and I were texting about it, and I wanted another hour of that episode. That was fun. That was
don't inflate KO's.
You're right. I shouldn't do it.
No, please don't.
Oops, edit that out. Yeah. Just a very heady guy, and he has a lot to say that I think is thoughtful.
Yeah, for sure.
He's very mindful of what he's saying,
Mm-hmm.
and from afar, I've been able to appreciate him and hope to chop it up with him in person or something.
Yeah,
in the near future.
I was with him a majority of the time in Detroit.
Oh,
so
cool.
Yeah, me and him.
Yeah,
like that's the homie.
Yeah, I mean, we probably all have people that we look forward to chopping it up with.
Yeah. So let me hit you with. Let's jump into the question.
Hit me.
Man. Let's talk about it. What's your first kicks? What's that first pair of sneakers you absolutely needed to have?
The first pair I needed to have. So I'm wearing the AJ5 black metallic.
Yeah.
And I remember very vividly being in grade school. And this is the first time I kind of really cared about sneakers. And it was this magical moment of someone down the hall coming in with them on, and sure, you see the reflective tongue.
Yeah.
And I was just dumbfounded by them. This actually happened. Like it sounds like I'm making it up, but this actually happened. I just, what?
Yeah.
And I've just had a love affair with this sneaker really ever since. It ended up being that my first cool pair is the AJ5 in the fire red. And my biggest reason for loving the shoe, I've recently said this. Sometimes when I look at shoes like a Jordan, I don't actually think about Michael Jordan first. I mean, he might be somewhere in the top 3 or top 5 of things I look at, but it's the sort of callbacks to my life or things that have happened that, I make me think about it. And what the story I'm about to tell you is that. So I finally get the AJ5, my first pair of Jordans, and I get off the bus, I get to school, and within minutes, someone comes over and essentially says, "When did you get those?" He has them on too.
Yeah.
And I say, "Well, I just got them this weekend." He goes, "Well, I got them this weekend." And turns out, we had some mutual acquaintances, but we're at 35 years later. Our wives go on vacation together without us.
What?
Yes. So sneakers, to me, that set the framework of what sneakers would become in my life. That's just one story of, and so when I think of the AJ5, I think of Chris.
That's awesome.
And so that's where the stories are sort of our stories.
Yeah.
That's where I sit with the stuff. And so, people get into debates about what's the better shoe, this and that. And not everybody's going to pick an AJ5.
No.
Maybe you don't have that context with the shoe. Okay. Maybe, you like the 4s more because something in your life, or maybe Complex told you to. I don't know, one or the other.
Hey.
No hate on Complex. It's just, You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
I'm impartial.
Your reasons for, preferring a shoe.
Yeah.
And so that's where things I think get interesting.
I think that, so, I mean, I don't know. Did you watch my video?
Which one?
The one-on-ones at the gathering?
Purposely didn't.
Ugh.
I will.
I was a little too drunk for that one, but I think I almost made everybody in that room cry. But it's funny because my story also involves with my childhood best friend Chris.
Okay,
so that's funny.
Okay, yeah,
and but it's also a Jordan 2, not the Jordan 2, but it's also a Jordan as well, and it's the Jordan 13 because mine is the Jordan. No, it's the Jordan 14 because the first pair of Jordans I got were the 15. But the only reason I got them is because
the collab. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And so the only reason I got them is because he had the 14s, and I was like, I need them. I need them.
Yeah.
But you are absolutely right. I think that it's like we do have to, if you are really in this. Right. And this is not like a prerequisite for, you're not a sneakerhead, blah, blah, blah. But I think it just means more to you if like
you're invested.
Yeah. Because you're like, every time the OG fours come out, you're like, I remember that time. I got to get them again. And you relive that. You know?
Yeah. I mean, and it's not to say let's just live in the past. Mm-hmm. It's not to say you can't enjoy something now. Like, that's not to suggest that. I think that people's attachments can happen. You know, how many sneakers are there out there? We're a kid in a candy store these days.
Yeah, you can
have access. You can have Wu-Tang dunks. You can have undefeated fours. I mean, that was 2 years ago. That was not, you know what I mean? And so
that was nothing. I remember like, I don't know if I told you this. I remember being on the forums and being like, one day,
every kid.
And
yeah, I mean, I was probably that kid, you know, just looking at this stuff and, you know, it's mythical. And, you know, with all of the choices and all of the options we have and all of the platforms and ways to get these shoes, why not have them be special to you? It again calls back to your whys, your stories, your, you know, connectivity with them. It's, and trust me, some of my favorite people in sneakers are people that have collections that are rooted in Michael Jordan did this, Michael Jordan did this, and Michael Jordan did this. Cool.
Not wrong. Not wrong with that.
That's your awesome.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you vibe with. But I think that there's maybe a lesser undertone or a lesser conversation happening around some of our stuff. I think a lot of the shares that people have tend to be anyway, it's a look at the shoe kind of thing versus why am I showing you this shoe?
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of more of where I'm going with this.
So from the AJ5s and this newfound friendship, what is the next shoe? What is the next moment in your storied past where it's like sneakers really started calling to you?
Yeah. You know, the AJ5 is a through line for me. I wore them my wedding.
Dang.
Yeah. But another one that jumps out to me is,
shout out to the missus for letting you rock them with the right.
Yeah. The groomsmen actually too. We all had some you know, a couple Dunks, Air Forces and such, but at the ceremony.
No, I was gonna say when you revisit the vows. I want the invite.
You want in?
Yeah.
Well, you're family now.
Yeah. We had the Olive Garden.
I love it. Another story that for me is interesting is the Cool Gray 11. So at the time I'm working at Foot Locker and I didn't realize how big of a deal that was going to be.
Yeah. Where was the Foot Locker you worked at?
So let me back up a sec actually and just tell you real quick how I got a job at Foot Locker. Like this is going back a few years. I go in and I'm just trying out some shoes. I'm looking at some shoes and someone who I didn't recognize came over to me And he said, "Oh, this and that about the shoes on the deck there, because back in the '90s you had options on the wall,
Yeah.
right?" And we started looking at the Humaras, and I'm talking to him about, Zoom Air and this and that, which I knew thanks to East Bay.
Yeah.
I've said that to Drew actually many times.
Yeah.
I get to talking, and he's surprised that as a customer I had any product knowledge, let alone technology. And so I ended up buying those Humaras. I also walked out with a job application and started about a week later.
Nice.
So that was actually my first job in sneakers, was just literally having that conversation with a new store manager who was looking for part-time employees.
And you already knew your stuff. You was already ahead of the game.
I mean, I'm already, I'm deep in, thanks to East Bay, those product pages, because tech wasn't really shareable. I mean, Nike.com wasn't even really.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it was barely. And so, you're relying on the enthusiast sites. You're relying on other things at the time to sort of hear about, learn about, and maybe an ad would feature a new tech or something, right? And so that gets me in the door. Now you fast forward to my time there, and the Cool Gray 11s are coming out. It's 2001, March 2001, and didn't realize that it was going to hit as big as it did.
Yeah.
I get to the store I thought I was going to easily go pick them up at. A different store manager I assumed would have pairs and not be an issue. And he looks at me and he goes, and I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. And then next thing you know, you're looking around. At times you're looking in the forums, you're looking around, and you're like, oh, wow. This thing really took off here in certain pockets in the country, not necessarily overseas, but here at that time, they were really the first coveted shoe. Yeah. Now, what ends up happening is I end up eventually getting pairs, right? And so here we are, fast forward to 2003, sell a pair, ship them off to Texas. A few days later, I get a phone call. Hey man, I just wanted to thank you. This is the iciest pair. This is what else you got? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And we just get to talking, right? And we're just back and forth. And next thing you know, probably the next day, we get to be fast friends. And next thing you know, we're linking up with people and this and that. We don't actually meet in person until 2008. And so he comes to New York. I get to meet Soul Supreme for the first time in person that day, Puneet. And, we go around New York, we kind of have a couple of food visits, and we find ourselves at ESPN Zone.
Shout out ESPN Zone, man.
Yeah. So good. So good.
Or even WWF New York.
Just places to hang, have a good time, that kind of thing. And so, really memorable night. Thankfully, someone took a picture and saved it. And I think Puneet put some stuff on MS Paint or something, put on there. And so that all these years later, we have that picture. And
I hope it's framed.
It actually, I have it somewhere in email.
You gotta frame it.
Yeah. Reason I'm telling the story is that fast forward to 2015, my buddy from Texas, he's now in Abilene, Texas. His dogs, he's got a litter.
Yeah, a litter.
Yeah. And chocolate labs. And I say, well, we need one of those. And so he goes, which one you want? And I say, oh, the one on the chest. He gets on a video with me and my wife. Yeah. We pick the dog out, and he goes, you got to send me a pair of Air Max. So I sent him the Air Max 2015s.
Wow.
And so dogs have to be of a certain age to travel. And so he sends me a picture of the morning he's going to ship her up to us. Yeah. And he's got the Air Max on with the puppy in the picture, which great picture to have. Yeah. And, we pick her up. And here we are 10 years later, Abilene is doing good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And, I think back to my buddy Leaf, who called me. That was an amazing domino, as maybe Coop would call it. Yeah. In my life and led to one of my great joys. So the Cool Gray 11, as awesome as it is in, again, Jordan history, Jordan first coveted, new colorway, Jordan, all those things. He eventually wears them, on his time with the Wizards. all of that is secondary to my dog.
Yeah.
And my guy Leaf, and you know what I mean? And so sneaker friendships can happen in the least expected way.
Yeah, for sure.
I could have not picked up the phone, or I could have been busy, or I could have been short with him.
Mm-hmm.
You never really know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thank my, 15-year ago version of myself, or,
that's awesome.
To talk with him and become good friends.
I hope you've been enjoying this week's episode with Tom, aka InStyleShoes 1999. If you really have been enjoying this and you've been watching this on YouTube, please leave a like, a comment, or subscribe to the podcast. And if you want to go the extra mile, hit that ring, that little bell that's on YouTube. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please leave a review, rate it 5 stars if you can. Leave a comment on Spotify, leave a review on Spotify. These things will help and grow the podcast, especially get it in the ears of other people as well. And if you really want to go the extra mile, that's right, there's another mile. Please sign up for the Patreon at patreon.com/myfirstkicks. We got 2 tiers, $3 tier, $5 tier. Got a lot of content going up on there. Extra content. I will be asking questions, be doing newsletters. I'm going to be building it out, make it a lot more immersive. And you know what we're doing. Back to the episode.
That's awesome. I think that's like, so when I got into sneakers around like 2006, 2007.
Sure.
So, I didn't really enjoy NikeTalk.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't.
You're one of those.
No, yeah. I didn't like, to me,
the coloring or the black and red, or
no. I like the black and red.
Yeah.
It was too way out of my depth in terms of like all the conversations that we're having very early on. Like me jumping into that was like, and it was on, because I was like, when I was on the internet, I was very like in hip hop forums.
Okay.
We didn't talk sneakers, but I can talk like how people talked about sneakers about hip hop.
Okay.
So once I traversed into that, it felt like different waters,
Interesting.
Yeah.
It felt like home to me.
Yeah.
There's this legendary moment in my mind, at least, and probably a few other enthusiasts, where as Slam Kicks got going, because back then you would, and so I think by the second or third issue, I want to say it was the third issue, Kobe's on the cover and Russ Bankston in the editorial, I believe.
Former guest.
Yeah. Shouts out the Easy board pub / all these numbers. It was like, this super long. It was a mile long. He's like, hey, if you're curious, you're looking for, just to geek out, basically. Yeah. And I remember thinking then, I said, wow, he's got a platform here, and he's choosing to highlight this other thing he likes and share it with his fan base.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing. And around that time, I started feeling like, wow, NikeTalk is really cool. Like I maybe had a different reaction than you. Like I felt almost immediately at home.
Yeah.
Like these are friends, other crazy people like me.
Yeah.
Because, it's hard to explain to people now because social media, right? Everybody scrolls, everybody has, access.
Yeah.
But back then you kind of might have known that there were people out there.
You didn't
know how to really find them other than maybe your corners, your mom and pops that you hit up, or maybe a friend had a friend, that kind of thing. And so your friendship circles in the sneaker world were very different. Those experiences looked very different.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like a million people have said, like I'm forever grateful to have really connected with it. And maybe I connected with it better because of seeing Russ in the pages of Slam.
Yeah, it was not no knock on NikeTalk. Because I found NikeTalk, I found NikeSB.org, and that's where it felt more. Yeah, that was more my realm. It's the niche of the niche.
You get in your niches, and so that is what's so interesting to me. I hope we can chat about that. Is that there are so many lanes in the sneaker space.
Yeah.
Some people are sort of jack of all trades, maybe master of none. I might be in that category where I just kind of love so many different sections or niches in the sneaker space. And then there are other people that are just dialed in. Mm-hmm. Like SB is where it's at, or, basketball is where that cross training is where it's at.
Yeah.
And, when you meet people in those lanes, mm-hmm. especially the super passionate ones, those are my favorite people.
Yeah.
Easily my most favorite people.
Oh, big time. Cause like to me, because Nike SB brought me to find sneaker culture. But like what you've seen the sneaker culture moments happen,
I'm old.
I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that way. I meant it more because like, we were messaging recently because you posted everybody meeting up at, was it Bobbito's book release?
Okay, so that was fresh out the box.
Yes.
And man, I wish I could have been.
No, I know. You were showing me
that just looks so cool.
Right, yeah.
And mostly because they're supporting, they're doing a variety of things. Mm-hmm. And I believe it was several people who helped in the first New York sneaker gathering.
Yeah.
That's what I believe that is billed as. Mm-hmm. And it's Ducky, Air Rev, Russ Bankston, Retro Kid. You have some great minds and contributors to the sneaker space getting together and displaying and then Bob's in there DJing.
Yeah.
Bob's book hasn't come out yet. Mm-hmm. All these years later, everyone still talks about that. You have that book. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of those books. You where
you have to have that. You have to. It's to be considered a sneaker. Not really.
I know.
But NikeTalk is created the rules to be a sneakerhead.
So you're young. First of all, the internet's new, really, relatively. Mm-hmm. Not everybody. You're dealing with dial-up, and so people are sort of sitting on their home computers and checking in, and you're finding your friends from around the world, and a lot of us are in our 20s, and so you're visiting that. To preface that was Nike Park, Nike Street, and there's some other smaller, I think GeoCity, there's some other things that were out there.
Yeah.
It was just the first one at the right everything, mm-hmm. and really was sort of the big bang of sneaker culture.
Right.
Some people might throw things and other people might applaud that. Mm-hmm. But in my opinion, that's when a lot of people jumped in and a lot of people started getting it. Also, they had the task of managing, right? That's where you get a bunch of young minded folks.
Yeah.
Some of those things got pretty wild. And I remember learning, okay, the admins have to come in and sort of manage that. All right, calm down. Here's why you're a little off here, or you're really off.
Yeah.
Don't attack people, this and that. That made such an impression on me. Mm. So shout out to the admins that kept that thing from going off the rails.
Oh, for sure.
Because as you know, look at the world today. Mm-hmm. You don't have an Instagram. Well, I'll stop there. You know where I'm going with this in the social media flavors, let's say.
But it is interesting because like I remember somebody, it was a post I made a while like on the forums very early, and they were like, all right, these are the 5 rules in order to be considered a sneakerhead.
Oh, jeez.
And and the first one was you have to have infrared 90s in your collection.
Have to.
Is
it elephant print or cement print? Right. Sure. Any of the thing. Right. Just pick. Right. The criteria. Right. I get it. Yeah.
Do you remember this?
No, it's just, I don't know. You hop in and out and yeah, I mean, it's always existed.
Yeah.
It's always existed. Yeah. And you're right to call that out. I'm glad you mentioned it that way because for years and years and years, people have talked about their, the levels, what those levels should look like. And sure. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, well, I think, and I don't know if maybe you can confirm this, but I think when it comes to sneakers, there's a moment where you are an elitist. I don't know if this ever happened to you. I feel like
I'm sure.
Like, yeah.
I'm sure.
Or it's like you're like,
yeah.
You're like,
like
no,
you
I'm not
don't
gonna do it.
Yeah. And then you end up like scoffing at someone's
Yeah.
excited to share something with you,
Yeah.
and you kind of like, not cool, man.
Yeah.
That's on me.
Mhm.
Be better. Like, I'm not saying be fake,
Mhm.
but be curious.
Yeah.
Why? So that person is taking the time to show me something.
Mhm.
Like, you show me your trainers before, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking, that's dope. What if I'm like, yeah, those suck?
But so that's my biggest problem with what it is right now, right? Because like so many people are quick to poo-poo a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
it does get frustrating because
Yeah.
I look at it like this from this lens, right? And I tell people this, and you've seen a couple episodes. I'm like, sneakers is for everybody, right? Sneakers are for everybody, right?
Or, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like in order for us to grow this, we have to be like, hey, come try it out. You know,
Connect. Yes, connect
Yeah.
to the products, but also to the people.
Exactly.
And and look, it's about showing out,
Mhm.
but it's also about, other things too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's just like nobody's ever going to be like, I just bought a new pair. Now I love this. Now I'm in it. It's like, it's always like, all right, I got a pair. Now I look
Tiptoe.
good. Yeah. You got to you got to touch it a little bit.
Yeah.
Somebody else with like, you come up to somebody and you're like, yo, those are nice.
Sure.
As you are also in like, oh, those are nice too. The domino. That's
the
a
domino thing. Yeah.
You know?
It's funny. I didn't know which way to go with the, hey, your first kicks thing. Cause I know that's going to be the first question. I actually had to have just reading the pages of Sports Illustrated as a youngster. The Nike Air became so embedded in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
The ads, Nike Air is not a shoe. There is no finish line. Eventually just do it. They were all sort of just very memorable and then visual in those pages. And then also as they were starting to hit TVs. And so I just remember having to beg my parents, and they were like, and I ended up getting I had to have a Nike Air shoe.
Yeah, you had to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the cheapest pair in the store. It was a trainer low. And I love them, but I didn't feel, I was just like, I had to, because your status, like, you feel different when you have a good pair on. And I know Clark talked about a lot over the years, and plenty of other people of just how you feel in the shoes, and then maybe that leads you to right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember having to have, and that little kid vibe. And so you're, to bring it to what you're saying about now, you really try to be present with people. You try to be curious with people. I'm sure I've been a snob at some point to somebody.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
happens.
yeah, don't mean to, but I really converse. I love it when someone is excited to show something. Hey, check out what I've got going on.
Mm-hmm.
Dope. And then you have the story, right? And then the next thing you know, you're talking about other things. You might be talking about your sports teams. You might be talking about, taking a trip or about, all the other things in life. But sneakers to me are that sort of conduit, let's say.
Yeah.
Gateway or whatever. It's just been that through line. And how many hours a day do we think about or look at or something related to sneakers, right?
Well, if you're listening to this, at least 1 hour a week, because we use sneakers as a through line.
No shameless plugs here. Not one.
Shameless plug on my own.
Not one.
On my own podcast. I mean,
set you up.
Out the park. The way that I like, I do want to pivot it into, the cover.
Sorry, I had to.
Into what the gathering is.
Yeah.
And so, because I do feel like a lot of people aren't really understanding it. And I've tried to explain it several times, but it's like I can only do so much in text form,
Yeah, it's a good thing we just got an Instagram off the ground. If you're curious, follow at It's the Stories That Matter.
Yeah.
So that's maybe my shameless plug.
And I've been reposting as well.
Yes, thank you. And the idea is to.
But first, before you do that, can you please tell the story about the shirt that led the shirt,
yeah,
the infamous NikeTalk shirt?
Oh yeah, so So I come into ISS, and shortly after they reach out, NikeTalk is doing sponsorships in those years. I want to say 2010 or 11 or so. I might be off on that. Yep.
I was a member of ISS.
I believe you.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to need you to send me a screenshot later.
My compact computer is dead. There is no screenshot. I could try to log in.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So I come in, and they reach out. They're looking for some sponsors, and so I end up joining them, even though there was some history from previous administration. And so, is this the right thing? This and that. Let's try it. Let's do it. And we learned a lot. I had some of the best conversations I've ever had being in that role for 7 or 8 years, give or take. I just amazing conversations and some give back stuff. We got to do some fundraiser stuff. So anyway, at one point, one of the admins was moving on, and he had all the old shirts. And so the task was, well, what do we do with this? I'm like, well, we have a website. I could just take the money, and it was decided to donate it. Like, there wasn't a dollar made off that stuff. Everything was, and there was initiatives that were posted on that. So anyway, one of them was a roll call shirt with, at the time, let's say top designers, Tinker and Lozano and Kilgore, Coop and Avar. And, that shirt did well. And so had the privilege, let's say, of being able to help them rehome those. And sure enough, one of Aaron's kids saw it, and Aaron reached out and said, "Hey, I'm on that shirt." Yeah, you are. You think you don't have my size? And so us not having the size prompted, well, like that
definitely gotta make them.
It took them a half a second to say, yeah, let's just make yes. And so a cool thing about that is I believe that fundraiser ended up being one of the biggest fundraisers that they had done to that point, which amazing to be a part of that, to even in the smallest way. I'm like, all I did was sell the shirts, you guys, but Aaron reached out and said, hey, if you don't mind, I'm going to guess at the sizes of the other people on the shirt. And it wasn't until years later I found out that he did, in fact, get them too.
That's crazy.
To my knowledge. Yeah. And so just a beautiful moment. It shows you who Aaron is. That was my moment. Everybody has a moment where you kind of know that they're, somebody's legit, but then you actually have a thing you see where you're like, wow, this person's really special. Yeah. And he is who he says he is. And he does what he says he's going to do, and he follows through. And so, you fast forward, you asked me about the gathering, and I'm happy to talk about it. Basically in 2023, thanks to Sneaker Tech Talk, Steve got to chatting him up, and he's in Canada. Yeah. And he's like, Coop, I would fly to Oregon to have a coffee with you. Yeah. And Coop's like, really? A version of that. That's their story to tell. Yeah. But so that happens. And I think shortly after that, he reaches out to a couple of people he, lets me know about, hey, I think we're going to have some people out in August. So we go out there, we, go around, we have some fun, and then he has us back to his house. And that's the first real gathering. It's just literally he opens the doors to his house, and we all kind of come in. Yeah. And there's this group photo on his back deck. And, there's no way to tell this where it doesn't sound mythical and magical.
It needs to be mythical and magical.
But we're there hanging out, and there's just a great mix of people. Yeah. And then he walks in. And it's like
everybody's heart beating out their chest.
Nobody has the aura of Tinker.
Yeah, nobody.
He did all of this essentially right? He's the ingredient that made it work.
Yeah.
Yes, the athletes, yes, Nike, yes, Wieden+Kennedy, yes, all the things that go around it.
Yeah.
However, he is the,
Yeah.
the main original.
The nucleus.
Yeah, yeah. And so just an amazing moment.
Mhm.
And so after that, a couple of days out there, obviously people keep in touch and that's cool. And then some of us, as organizers, we were going to form an enthusiast page for Alpha Project.
Mhm.
And at the time we had 4 of us. I was like, wait, Alpha Project is 5 dots. Shouldn't there be 5 of us?
Yeah.
And so we get to 5 of us. And so we spent all this time kind of geeking out on Zoom calls and stuff, like getting ready to start an Alpha Project page. I'm like, what a fun thing. I mean, who doesn't love Alpha Project?
Yeah.
And, super, anyway, we're like, hey, we're coming up on about a year or so.
Mhm.
I think Aaron's pretty busy. Do you think we could maybe try to get this going again?
Mhm.
Like pay it forward, let's say, for lack of a better way of explaining it.
Yeah.
And so year 2 kind of gets going and Aaron's kind of in the background letting us and then he jumps in and does what he does and we have an amazing year. And so then here we are, year 3.
Did he have in year 2? Did he have the is it 3 or 4? 4? No, it's 3. Is it 3? It's 3. It's
Year 3 was this year.
No. I'm talking about Domino.
Yes. So Be a Sponge.
Yeah, Be a Sponge.
Yeah. Butterfly
and
Domino. Sponge, Butterfly, Domino.
Yeah. 3.
I might have the order wrong. But he's had that.
Yeah.
And that's been a part of his journey. And that's a I don't want to call it a mantra, but it's something of that.
It's
yeah.
I would say when he presented, I was super inspired when he presented it in New York to us. And I was like, because I mean, it was the first time seeing that. And then literally I'm like, you gotta, you're the first domino to drop in this, Be a Sponge and, and then like,
People could say, what does that really mean? But I think we've talked about it. I think in a few instances in our conversation tonight is, you never know that small thing,
right?
Could lead to the next thing, lead to the next thing. And then all these things happen because of it, sliding doors even. But so, it felt like the only thing we could do, not the right thing. It felt like the only thing for us to do was to try to pay respect because it was such a goosebump, amazing moment. Just something about connecting with people in real life.
Yeah.
Like we get so stuck behind the screen. I know that some of your guests say that on pod a lot, like be outside. Like that's a theme that's been a thing a lot lately. And so Aaron is really about that. And I think like, you probably follow some people for a really long time. In my case, Seth, Soul to Soul, right? I look up to the guy. I probably interacted with him for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I learned so much from him contextually. I mean, the guy is brilliant.
Wealth of knowledge.
Just a wealth of knowledge. And I finally get to meet him thanks to Coop, and hey man, let's get a coffee. And it's like, dude, I've been following you for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And that plays out. And so the idea is that happened for us. It would be an honor for that to happen, to contribute even in the smallest way to help this thing get forward with some momentum, and so just being here tonight maybe gives it a touch. Maybe someone's curious to check out what is It's the Stories That Matter. You hop on there, you might see the ethos that we just posted about how, someone gets to be a part of this hopefully growing community.
I mean, one thing, let me tell you this story, because you weren't there when this happened. Okay. So we were at the gathering, the official gathering in Portland. Right. And so I'm outside because it wasn't a lot of space downstairs to eat. So I was just like, oh, let me grab some food and then I'll just eat outside. All right. So I'm eating outside. It's a couple of us out there. And then somebody turns to me and goes, is that Tinker? And then I'm like, oh shit, it's Tinker. Right. Comes up, shake his hand. Earlier you announced, there's going to be some people here.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Be easy.
Yeah, be easy.
Be cool, man. Be cool. Just be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just act like you've been there.
Act like you've been there before. Yeah.
So, with that in mind, right, got to talk to him for a little bit. And then he gets pulled away from me.
Yeah.
All good. I go outside. I sit down.
What just happened?
I sit down. Andy Sneak. Shout out Andy.
Oh yeah.
And so he sits in front of me, and I just start crying. Cause it's like, and this is why I kept telling you, thank you so many times after that. Right. I never thought creating this in my room would bring me to a point where I'm in front of him.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's Aaron's relationship with Tinker.
Mm-hmm.
Also, thank you, Tinker, for being curious about us.
Yeah.
To his credit, he took the time to shake people's hands that went up to him.
Yeah.
He didn't duck anybody. He didn't have to.
No.
Obviously, a man of his stature.
Mm-hmm.
But for him to check out, what are we showing? Think about that.
Yeah.
Through his lens.
Yeah.
Think about that through Christian Tresser's lens. Think about that through some of the other people that were with us from a design standpoint. These people made the shoes that are such a part of our lives, right? And so for them to check out this sort of, I don't want to say culture, right? So culture, even though there are many niche and sub groups, when you look at how people who are interested in others can be, that room feels like no other. I mean, you're probably on the curb crying moment is every hair on my arm standing up, knowing what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And if I could tell you that in the front of the room, after so they spoke, Aaron and Tinker spoke, and then Andrew and then Steve was going to go.
Yeah.
And so I was to follow.
Right.
And so I stand up there and I watched kind of the people go over. And I said, there's nothing I can say now that's going to even come close to that. And I live with, did I do the right thing? Because the purpose was for people to share stories, right? And, we asked people to curate their stories to share. And I was hopeful that we'd be able to do that in a room dynamic, but there's some things that you just have to let be. And so I made that split second decision, hoping that we'd circle back. I think that happened a little differently as the couple days went on.
Yeah.
But I hope the idea is there that we connect with each other, right? Like, yes, have this magical moment with these legendary designers, whether it's Aaron or Christian. There were several other very important people in the room that some of these sneaker companies wouldn't be the same without. Skip Lee, Ken Black, very
Frank Hooker was there.
Yeah. There, I mean, there's a litany of people that are sort of checking at, and what are we showing them? You know what I'm saying? And I think the respect that we can do to all of this is to just do what we're doing right now.
I mean, honor it and just have these conversations.
Yeah, just try to move it forward in that way. Because I've had just such a gifted journey. I think it's because of some of the things that are in the elements and these ethos that are part of what the gathering is. And I'm just honored to be able, this is, I wouldn't trade this for anything.
I mean, I'm already like, all right, well, we got to do another episode because we got to hear the rest of your journey. Because I know this, I didn't want this to take up a ton of times, but I know, before we jumped in here, I did want to, kind of make an emphasis on this because a lot of people saw me go and, I posted about it and
because you and I interacted.
Yeah.
And then you came and then you connected. And so, I mean, it's just about being present.
Yeah.
It's about being, just care, just interact with other people rather than, again, I don't mean to have this kind of, we can be very like,
rigid,
like bravado. We can have egos in this space. And honestly, some people deserve to have those.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Cool. Like, I would say that. I mean, I've been in a room with Brendan and Joe. Those guys are cool as can be,
Yeah.
you know, just present, and they're not sitting up here looking down. Like, they're not doing that.
No, yeah. But it's funny because like there are people that think that that's what they do.
They don't do that.
And
No.
when you tell them
No.
that that's not what's happening,
That's
they're like,
not what's
"No,
happening."
That's not what happened.
Yeah.
You know? And it's funny because like
Can I say 100% of the time? I don't know, because
No.
I'm not 100% of the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
no one's foolproof.
Right. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you approach conversation the right, if you're interested in others, like, that's where I think sneakers is really magical.
Yeah.
And I don't want to kind of beat the horse, so to speak, but like, you know, I just want to say that, like, don't be so judgy about how you think people are or what it is that you think that they're doing per se. Like, yeah, I mean, I think it's good to question, but also don't be so
strong-headed.
Yeah, be a little more curious. I mean, trust that there's, and Aaron's this way.
Mhm.
Trust that people are good.
Yeah. I always
until they show you otherwise.
So yes, that's my thing. 'Cause like I'm always just like, you know, I mean, let people show them who they are, right? You got to give them that chance because, you know, obviously, you know,
Don's big on that. Kick Sigma.
Shout out Don, man.
Yeah, he's amazing. You know, but he's very big on that, and he and I have had some back and forth with some dialogue on that, and I think it's really interesting because I'm like kind of maybe so empathetic.
Yeah.
And then, but you know, well, I guess, all right. Yeah. It depends on how you're looking at something. So it's a fun learning experience. Yeah. I love learning from people who look at things differently than I do. I love that.
I've been known, people always tell me like, oh yeah, you know, you always look for the good in people, but I'm always less like, yeah, because you know, not everybody's going to knock it out the park on the first impression.
No.
And so, you know, I let people, I don't give a lot of chances, but I do get, like, I just want people to show up for me. Like if I'm showing up for you, just show up for me. You know, that's the biggest thing I can ask for, you know,
mutual respect. But
And it's the same where it's just like, you know, you hit me up and you're like, hey, you know, I think this will be cool. And I'm like, what, you know, like to me, your page has been a big deal. Obviously I said I was on ISS, like I remember when immediately when you followed me, and then like I remember messaging Aaron, front page Aaron. And I was just like, I was like, I can't believe it. InStyleShoes followed me. Like, this is crazy.
I just messaged with him earlier today about some stuff.
Yeah, and
he's very mindful of stuff. He's good. I very much appreciate him.
He's, you know, me and him, we bounce topics off each other all the time. So like, yeah, that's the thing. But like, I mean, we had the Airbnb together. We were talking all night. So it's just like, it was me, him, and AD in one Airbnb.
Oh,
so
man,
like,
that's a lot of words.
Going to sleep at like 1 o'clock because we've just been talking.
Oh, you got sleep, did you?
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah. and that's the beauty. I mean, there's so many people that are in the sneaker space that, you know, just enjoy being around others.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, it would be how I would describe, you know, like I think some people have joked, JT over at Sneaker Savant, you know, he's joked it's kind of like adult day camp, right?
I called it. You want to hear what I've been calling it? I've been calling it the sneaker Illuminati.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what's he saying?
No, because I do think it's like chosen. Like, I think you are chosen, but I think it's the rite of passage is that you're just your heart is on whatever you're putting out, you know?
So we got to have Julia, who is Sneaker Queen. And so she came in from Berlin, and she's been to so many things over the years, and shown up in so many ways. And she's a part of the OTC, which is in Japan, and they do a gathering, and there's some other notable people in there, and they just look like they're having a great time. And she's just like, well, yeah, we're kind of 70s and 80s, and you guys are 90s, you know, kind of looking down on the 90s a little bit. Like, I go to 91, 92 maybe. And I'm like, I love that, actually, like to have a very specific and just be about that lane.
Yeah.
But also curious, you know. And so just getting a link with Hop and Black, you know, the Retro Talk forum guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I just saw them in the hallway. I just wanted to hug them. Like, those dudes are real.
Yeah, for sure.
They're just real.
Everybody was so welcoming. And,
Yeah.
I got to have some great conversations. Yeah.
I love their energy. And so like this idea of just sort of having this energy together and, the Wilson thing happens.
That was, Aaron felt like me when I met Tinker. Cause like Aaron was like, I can't believe it. I met Wilson.
That's
like,
one of my stories that I love that. And so that happens because of relationships.
Yeah.
Steve has a nice, friendship with Wilson.
Future guest. He gave me his number.
Good. Have him in here.
Yeah.
I'll be outside.
I'm going to have to buy some.
What I was going to say is 23 BC, Brian is a huge,
he just recently did an installment with like a talk with KO ATATF at Foot Action? No, Foot
Action's gone.
I know. What's the other one? Athlete's Foot. They did at an Athlete's Foot because Atlanta is the only place that has
them still. Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, he just has this amazing collection, and he's curated, I believe the 15s, 16s, and 17s, and here he is showing up with them, all these OGs, and just watching him watch Wilson.
Yeah,
for me, and just seeing that.
Yeah,
it doesn't get better than that.
It doesn't.
Just seeing someone kind of have, and it's like. That happened because of the universe. That happened because people are interested. That happened because, yes, we took the time to try to frame it.
Yeah.
But the idea is that is exactly that. Is just have these moments. And I got a picture with him. I'm pretty sure like I might.
Yeah.
I'm just meeting people like Rolo, Dunks Are Nice. Same thing. I've been following him for forever. We linked, we talked on the phone, this and that. Never got to hang in person. It's beyond sneakers.
No, for sure. The collective that of all of us that we really enjoy this thing. We didn't see within us. There wasn't a moment of like animosity or looking like, and that's what I feel like we get in a lot of these spaces. Like I go to a lot of events, and me being new to the creator space of this, like,
I mean, you're on, what is this, 240? How many episodes?
Yeah. 240.
You're still new?
I would say, yeah, like if I'm like
newbie.
Yes. Brand new. I would say, there's a lot of like, oh, why does he get such and such? Or why does he get to talk to do, or why does he get to do this or this or that? And it's kind of just like, the only thing I can say is just, if you foster relationships,
Yeah.
The sneakers are, they're a statement for us, but it's also a conversation.
It's the conduit stuff. It's how you approach people, and there's a lot of society stuff, within the sneaker space. But like, I just to get to meet such talented people. I mean, it's the first time I got to meet Bima.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm just happy to shake his hand. The guy has taught me so much.
I'm the reason he went there, right? I ran into him. I'll tell you after,
okay?
Because we're towards the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
So. That's funny because now they want. Now I'm sure the listeners are like, "What? We want to know." I'll tell you after.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
BRB.
BRB for sure. But we're at the end of the podcast, and my last question deals with a little visualization.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I want you to think back to when you were, young Tom, and he's about to open that box with the metallic fives in them.
Ooh.
So now you're older you behind your younger self. What would you tell your younger self as he opens that box?
What's crazy about that is I only had the Fire Reds OG.
Yeah.
I wanted.
My bad. I meant Fire Reds.
So to stay with your question, I remember my buddy Mike. He had the black metallics, and he was just really deep in sneakers, and we still stay in touch. Actually, still, we grew up together. No, it was probably since the 6th, 7th grade, maybe. We still have a sneaker thread with some other friend, and we we don't align on sneakers anymore. We don't like the same things, but we love gum soles, so we just shout out the gum sole Gips.
Yeah,
like that's our text thread. But anyway, to answer your question. I had a moment where for some reason I had his old pair that was blown out on the side. They were yellowed and beat up. It was probably some years later. And I remember looking at them thinking, I would do anything if I could walk into a store. I would pay any amount of money to have these. because I just thought there was such a beautiful sneaker. And, it kind of set the table for how I felt reading in the pages of when the retros were going to come back out. And so probably like a lot of people have said on your show before, I think Brendan might have answered the same global way that I will, is it'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
It'll work out.
Yeah.
Just follow, like be true to your instincts or your connectivity. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't just keep going is really what I would tell myself, is what I would tell anybody. Like, whether you're looking at some people in a group that's across the country and you want to be there, cool. Hit us up.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that.
Be approachable.
Just go.
Yeah.
Just, and maybe don't go too hard.
30 messages after this drops. 30 messages.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of, but
I want to go out, book a flight. Like
I can't thank Aaron enough for he doesn't have to do this, but he's doing it.
He is,
and he's letting us do it with him.
Yeah.
All right.
Let everybody know where to find you.
Tom, I'm at InStyleShoes 1999, and it's a privilege to be here, man. Thank you.
Privilege to be here too.
Till next time.
You know where to find me. Who is Hustle on social medias? I'm gonna pass it on to me. Patreon shout outs. Follow the Patreon, patreon.com/myfirstkicks. Help out the podcast, rate, review, all that shabazz. Please. On to me. There you go.
I hope you enjoyed this week's episode with Tom, aka InStyleShoes 1999. I learned a lot. I hope y'all learned a lot. I will definitely have him back because we like scratched the surface, right? He got to tell a little bit of his stories from growing up, but I want to know that like in between, like all the sneaker jobs you got, because he talked about working at Foot Locker, and like I need to know all about his story. So he will definitely be back. Tom me and him become friends, and like forever grateful for inviting me to that first little gathering that was here in New York, and getting to meet Aaron, AC Cooper, then the invite to Portland, and getting to meet Tinker. Like, this year has been extremely crazy. I don't know if you will follow me on social medias, but shout out to Sango, who's been able to make me help me experience some of the craziest things I've ever experienced. Being on stage at Central Park, watching Amine, again, talk to Amine, somebody who I've been listening to his music since 2017, 2016. And then also even just being becoming friends with Sango, and just being around his circle and New York circle that he has, and it's just been insane. I don't when I think about that moment in this episode, when I talk about being Tinker and crying because I never thought this would be my life. I don't know how many. If you follow me on Twitter, My First Kicks Pod on Twitter, I tweeted out I don't know how many moments, or I don't know how many times I can ask myself, what is my life? Because I had never thought I would be doing some of the things I've done this year, and we're going towards the end of the year. So I do a lot of self-reflection. If you listen to a lot of previous episodes, I always like to take stock and go over the accomplishments I've had. And when I think about last year compared to this year has been insane. And we're only in October, and I appreciate every single one of y'all who watches this, tunes in every week, comments, shares, likes, subscribes, all of that. But of course, we got to do Patreon shout outs before I get even deeper into this outro that I'm doing. So Patreon shout outs, got to start off with my man, Adam Newster. Then we got Ross Adams. Then we got Derek, aka Fresh Poetic, and then we got Jesse, Just CG, Adam Butler, and new subscriber this week, Plox. Shout out, I really appreciate y'all, and without y'all, this will be as low budget as possible, right? So, just know I will be adding more stuff onto the Patreon, and you can also be a patron too at patreon.com/myfirstkicks. 2 tiers, like I said previously, $3, $5. $5, you will get extra content. $3, you'll get a shout out. But each and every single dollar goes a very long way as I work to, build out the ecosystem that I'm trying to build. I have some really big plans, with time allotted, as you know. And as I previously mentioned in last week's episode, I do have a full-time job. So, managing that and, actually having a life. And as people are saying, being outside, you have to be outside of these things to make sure that I can get guests, I can talk to people, tell people about the podcast. So managing all that stuff, I'm working on it. It's not a perfect process. And I really appreciate anybody that takes the time out to listen to this and also subscribe to the Patreon, subscribe to the podcast on any platform. I really appreciate it. It goes a very long way as I, try to make sure a lot of the stories that we all want to hear from people that we may not know or who work in the industry, who don't work in the industry, or in music or comics, these are people that intrigue me and then I feel like y'all should know about and y'all should hear about. And so I created this platform to do that because, we all listen to the same stuff, right? Or we listen to the same stories over and over, right? But I try to just put my little spin on it and try to use it as a through line to make sure that y'all get that same experience of me getting to know somebody. And I hope I'm doing a really good job. Like I said, your hard-earned dollars do not go to waste, and I really appreciate every single one of y'all for tapping in with me each week. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, and please share this with everybody because, like I said earlier, it goes a really long way. But if you want to watch more of this podcast, you can check out these 2 episodes here or hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. But don't forget, wear your kicks. Peace.